What up? You're here. You're here because you want to learn how to meditate. And lucky you, because I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to teach you how to meditate today. My name's Chris. If we haven't met before, I'm the co-founder of Mindspo. And I'm really excited that you're here because I'm going to teach you the most transformative thing that I ever learned in my entire life. I've been meditating for just over 10 years now. I do it probably 5-6 times a week. So I don't try to have a perfect streak with it, but I still come back to this practice almost every single day. I've been doing the exact same meditation practice for literally 10 years because it works so well. And I'm just here to pass this on. I didn't come up with this. This has been around for thousands of years. In fact, meditating in the way that I'm going to teach you today is actually a function of your body and of your brain. It's kind of like a button that you just didn't know existed. And once you learn how to push that button, once you learn how to calm the voice inside of your head and calm your nervous system, my God, the benefits that you are going to feel in your body, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically, in your relationships, in your work, in your sleep, in your concentration. I cannot overstate how tremendous the benefits are of this practice if you learn how to do it and you start to implement it. I can lead a horse to water, I can't make it drink. So today I'm just going to give you everything that I know without the fluff. I'm going to not gatekeep anything here. I'm just going to teach you all the stuff that I know on how to make meditation practical, and then it's up to you to implement it. I'm not going to try to sell you something at the end of this. I'm just going to hand this over to you. I do encourage you, however, to download our app because the meditation that we're going to do in this video, we're actually going to meditate during this video so that you do this all in one session while I've got your attention. Because this meditation is in there, it's free, therefore you can have this with you so you can keep implementing this practice. The hardest thing about meditating is just to keep doing it because your mind is going to mess with you. It's going to tell you haven't got time. And when your brain does that, you have to notice that that is the reason you meditate, not the reason not to. So I'll go into this a little more later. So let's begin with the paradox that is meditation. Meditation, the word gets thrown around a lot, okay? There are many different kinds of practices. The practice I'm going to teach you today is called mantra meditation. Some people say like running is my meditation, surfing is my meditation. And like it's kind of true in the sense that you're removing some stimulation and you're doing the same thing over and over, which allows you to change your state. But it's a far cry from what I'm going to teach you how to do today, which is really allowing your mind to settle by removing all stimulation. I just want to first of all say that meditation, in my experience, has been the greatest paradox. It's the greatest paradox because you've never done less. Like you're not even trying to think anymore. You're just trying to sit down and you're just doing nothing at all. But what you get from it when you do it properly is actually the most valuable thing in this life, right? Because I thought about this a lot. Imagine you have all the materialistic things that you could ever wish for. You got your private island and your Lamborghini and infinite money and whatever else, but you've got depression. The voice inside of your mind is talking negatively to you all day long incessantly, and it's robbing you of gratitude and happiness and presence. That's not a very good existence, is it? On the other hand, if you were to be able to tap into a state of inner peace, if you could just be present and grateful and felt happy without needing anything, then I would argue that that person essentially is having a better life than the person over here with the billions of dollars. Now, you get that feeling of inner peace from calming your mind. Essentially, this practice of meditation, it will give you the most valuable thing in life and it asks almost nothing in return. All it asks for is a little bit of time. The time that you spend meditating actually comes back to you in many times over, because think about how much time you're wasting each day scrolling the gram, getting emotional, trying to self-soothe yourself while you're stressed, multitasking, procrastinating. Look at the usage on your phone and tell me how much time you are losing every day because your mind isn't on point and because you're not really satisfied with where you are in life because your mind is driving you insane, right? Really, meditation, it's the 20 minutes or so that you invest once every morning comes back to you many, many times over. So it's the greatest paradox, which is how the mind also screws with us to stop us from meditating, right? It tells us stories like, hey, you don't have time right now. Meditate tomorrow, meditate later. That is just you forgetting the truth, which is if you just calm the voice inside of your head regularly, if you can just become bigger than the voice inside of your head so that you can control the voice inside of your head, then everything in life gets easier. And that time that you invest meditating is really the best time that you're investing into anything, ever. At least that's my opinion. So now let's talk about what the average state of the mind actually is. I do this thing where I ask people how stressed they are from 0 to 10 before we ever meditate. And I want to ask you that right now. And in fact, at the end of this video, I'd love for you to write the before and after state down in the comments, because it's going to be super interesting for everybody to read each other's change of how this affected you, this meditation that you're going to do during this video. So just ask yourself right now, just tap in, take a moment, move beyond your mind, and just ask yourself, how stressed am I right now? From 0 to 10, 10 being super stressed. See, like I'm probably about a 3 right now, maybe. But I can tell you from asking hundreds of people this in person that the average state of mind, the average level of stress for the average person is about 6 to 7 out of 10. And 1 in 10 people tell me they're 10 out of 10. But they're sitting in front of me the way I am right now, the way you are right now. They're sitting there calm and still, and they've trained themselves to keep all of this stress and anxiety and overthinking inside and not show it, because it's like a faux pas in our culture. I don't know if I'm using that word right, but whatever. It's not socially acceptable to show lots of emotion like that, so everybody bottles it up and puts a mask on. But meanwhile, the average state of mind, the average unmeditated mind especially, is incredibly stressed, anxious, paranoid. Everyone's running around worrying and thinking about what other people are thinking, and then those people are thinking and worrying about what those people are thinking. Everybody's doing this on the inside. In fact, when they do experiments, when they do scientific measurements, they estimate that the average person has 50 to 70,000 thoughts per day. That means we are thinking so much that we don't even realize that we're thinking the whole time. It's like we are watching 20 televisions at once inside of the mind. And then we have this little pinhole where we let a little bit out. We just let out like some coherent thoughts so that people don't think we're crazy. But meanwhile, on the inside, you have all of this stuff going on the whole time, right? And when you're meditating, you're essentially beginning to observe your own mind. You become familiar with what the contents of your own mind are on a daily basis. And I got to tell you, when I learned meditation in 2011 or something, I realized really quickly that like, damn, my mind is so random. It's just filled with all these weird one-liners and anecdotes and strange questions and memories and, you know, like Schwarzenegger quotes or something from Predator or whatever. Like it's just filled with random crap. And I really had to take inventory of like, is that what I am? Like, am I just a collection of stupid one-liners? That really began a huge change in my life, because when you take responsibility for the voice inside of your head, for calming the voice inside of your head, for doing this practice so that you can become more in control of yourself, of your inner world, it also allows you to construct and change your inner world, which changes everything around you as a side effect. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the gap. Okay, so when you're meditating, you are essentially you're practicing being bigger than the voice inside of your head. And I'll explain in a moment what the mechanism is that allows you then to calm down the voice inside of your head so that everything can kind of settle, right? Essentially what you're doing is you become the observer of the voice inside of your head. It's like rather than just being on autopilot and going with all the random thoughts that are popping in through your mind and just being like, yeah, that's the truth, that's the truth, that's the truth, let me just keep listening here. You become bigger and you just go, let me just watch what's going on here. And how this actually trickles over into your everyday is you begin to develop this little 1 second gap between your mind saying something and your body feeling something and then you actually acting on that. You start to develop this small gap that allows you to take control as to whether you actually want to express those thoughts or really amplify those emotions or take those actions. And you can start to essentially practice quality control. It's like self-control and quality control over your inner world, so that you can then be in more harmony and control with your outer world. Myself personally, like, I used to be very angry, and I still have that part in me. Sometimes I'll get frustrated at my computer if I get the spinning beach ball of death or something, right? And I have these reactions, but I am able to observe those reactions now, 90% of the time, and not act on them. Sometimes I still do. I'm not perfect. None of us are, right? We are all perfect in our imperfection. So that's the gap. You will develop this little gap. Let me get now into the practical side, because I'm sure you're sitting there right now and you're wondering, like, God damn it, Chris, hurry up. I just want to know how to meditate. So calm your horses. Let's go into it. Essentially, you cannot calm your own mind in the same way that you do pretty much everything else in life, which is, we usually think that, like, we use our hands and we add some force and we make it happen, and we're like, so when you have that approach about meditation, then you'll probably fall into the same trap that most people fall into when they first try it, which is they'll sit down, they'll close their eyes, and they'll be like, I'm gonna stop my mind. And then you're like, I can't do it, because the mind is so reactive. It's so powerful and so reactive that every action creates a reaction. So if you're like, I'm going to stop my mind, you'll immediately be like, oh, I can't stop my mind. Oh, what does that mean? Oh, I've got too many thoughts. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All this stuff will start happening, right? So the way that you calm your mind and the way meditation works is the same mechanism, the way you would clear a glass of dirty water, all right? So imagine you have a glass of dirty water and you want it to go clear. Well, what do? What you do is you put it over here and you leave it alone. You have to leave your mind alone for long enough for it to calm itself down, okay? That's how it works. It has to calm itself by you removing the constant interaction with your thoughts. And the way you interact with them is through your attention. So when you're paying attention to your mind and you're listening to your head all day long, which all of us are doing incessantly, then your mind feeds off that energy, and that's what keeps this perpetual motion machine of overthinking going. All right, so you have to be able to remove your attention from all of the chit-chat inside of your skull. Now, the next question is, of course, how the hell do you do that, right? And this is where this technique comes in. What you do is you add one more element, which is called a mantra. Your mantra is really like a secret weapon for your inner peace, okay? It's a secret technique. And what you do is you play a sound in your head. It's not out loud, it's just in your imagination, and it's 2 syllables, and it's meaningless. It's harmonious and meaningless. So essentially you start playing this sound in your head. Now, I play it with the rhythm of my breathing, but that's not the only way you can do this. You can also do it independently. The key is that you play this sound in your head while all of the turmoil in your mind is going on, and you kind of create this little area that's like a placeholder for your attention. It's like a little area inside of your mind where if I put my attention there, I'm not creating any more thoughts, and I'm not interacting with all of the other thoughts that are going on all the time, right? So it's this little safe space that allows my mind then finally to calm down. Now, you're going to get this mantra in the audio that I'm going to play during this video, which is going to be a 15-minute meditation from our Manifesty app. It's called Inner Calm, and it's voiced by me, and you will get the sound. I will start you off with the rhythm, and then you just start playing the sound inside of your head. And here's the key. This is the mechanism, right? You're going to sit there, you're going to close your eyes, you're going to sit comfortably, and we're going to talk a little in a moment about how to control your environment so that you have a better experience, right? But essentially, you're going to close your eyes and you're going to notice all the stuff going on inside of your head. And then you're going to start playing this sound inside of your head over here, okay? And you're going to try to put your attention there. But here's what's going to happen. The moment you put your attention there, your mind's going to wander. Okay, it's going to wander into some thought. Oh, wow, this is really interesting. Oh, wait. Okay, and then what you do is you take your attention and you put it back onto the sound, right? Your entire job really is to play the sound and then notice when your mind has wandered into some random storyline, into some comment, into some judgment, into some measurement, because this is what the mind does. It's constantly putting things in intellectual boxes. Oh, I wonder whether this is, I wonder how much time I've got left meditating. Wow, I'm really good at meditating today, aren't I? Just, this is all your brain continuing on this cycle of overthinking, of this momentum of activity, which is what we're trying to get to calm down a bit, okay? So your entire job is to notice, where's my mind? Okay, so I'm sitting here, I'm playing this sound in my head and my mind wanders. I pick it up, I put it back, and it walks away, and I pick it up and I put it back. And you do this over and over and over. So on the outside, you look like some Buddha statue. You're just sitting there calmly, and people are like, wow, he's so calm. But on the inside, you're playing a sound, your mind is doing all the chit chat, and every time your mind wanders, you pick it up and you put it back, and you pick it up and you put it back, and you pick it up and you put it back. It's kind of like training a puppy. Imagine you have a puppy and you go like, sit, puppy, and then the puppy wanders off. So you pick it up and you go, sit, and it wanders off, sit, and it wanders off. And you keep doing this over and over and over and over. Sometimes hundreds of times in like 20 minutes, right? And now to manage your expectations, generally the first 5 or 10 minutes doesn't even feel any different. And in the beginning, you may get frustrated, but try not to, because frustration is just another trick that your mind is using to keep you thinking, okay? So don't get frustrated. This is normal. You have a powerful, powerful brain with thousands of thoughts per hour, okay? It's incredible, but you have to manage it, okay? You have to service it a little bit. Otherwise, this thing starts falling apart a bit, as we can see around us. Or look at people who don't meditate into their later age, and they're constantly absent-minded and stressed and worried about, has Billy got a jumper on and he might get a cold? This whole thing that we do. Anyway, the mechanism is you pay attention where your mind is. And when you can do this over and over and over, when you stick with this, eventually your mind suddenly starts to calm down. Now, for me personally, 15 minutes is really when I'm only just starting to feel the benefits, but you are feeling benefits at that point. I highly recommend trying the 30-minute meditation inside of the app. I know this sounds like a lot, but trust me, time actually speeds up when you're meditating. Like, you'll get to the end of 30 minutes and you'll be like, that was 30 minutes, that felt like 10. Okay. When I do 30 minutes, I can actually achieve that thing that people are always chasing, which is like a feeling of total stillness. Now, I have to say here, be careful about your expectations, because if you expect something, you are actually tricking yourself into thinking again, right? So the way you need to look at this is that every meditation session is like its own thing. You don't compare it to yesterday's meditation. Oh, today's meditation is not as good as yesterday's one, because this is just a trick your brain is using to keep you thinking again. Just sit down with the intention of like, you're just doing this thing to like waste some time almost. There's no real intention, there's no goal, because if you have a goal, that's what's stopping you from get to the goal. It's kind of another paradox. You just stop with the mental chatter and you just keep your awareness on the sound inside of your head until the dust settles inside of your mind. That is how meditation works. I know, it's when you start to do this, you'll be like, you're kidding me, that's what it is. It's right in front of you. And all I can tell you is the feeling that you can get when you do a meditation sesh and you do it for like 15, 20, 30 minutes and you really start to feel this settling. The feeling that I get is what I describe as like the holiday feeling. It's the feeling that I think people think they're going to get on a holiday. Like, imagine you retire and you have no more responsibilities, you're still relatively healthy, you've saved a lot of money, you're finally in the Maldives, you're sitting by the pool, you're calm and grateful and happy and present. But here's the thing, people don't feel like that when they retire because they haven't been practicing how to relax. They've been doing the opposite their entire life. So what they do instead is they do crossword puzzles. And then they go back to where they live and they get a shitty job because they need something to stay busy because their mind is driving them insane. Meanwhile, you're here with me right now and you're learning what to do so that you can get that retirement feeling sitting at a bus stop now while you're 20 years old or however old you are right now. Like, it's accessible to you right now. The secret to happiness, to gratitude, to a longer, happier, healthier life is right here in front of you. I cannot drill this in enough. You just have to create enough space for your mind to settle. And then the next day, when it's time to meditate again, notice if your brain goes, nah, do it later, we'll do it tomorrow. And then go, no, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to take control now. The last few things to control for is how you sit. You want to sit with a straight back, relatively straight, because you want to put your body in a position where you can forget about it. Your body needs to be comfortable. So that means ideally sitting with your feet on the ground, shoulder width apart, okay? You roll your shoulders a little bit back. You sit with a backrest. I use a lot of pillows to kind of like create just the perfect position for my body. I have very tight hamstrings from sitting a lot. So like find a position that works for you. Straight back, because otherwise, if your back is on an angle like this, then you're going to be tensing your neck muscles the whole time. And that's going to get annoying after 5 minutes, okay? If you sit with crossed legs, for instance, you're going to be fine for like 5 minutes. But 10 minutes from now, all you're going to be feeling is those two shin bones pushing against each other, and that's going to stop you from once again getting to that nice still place. So control for these things. Sit comfortably. Get yourself a good chair, or just find a chair. Or if you sit on a couch, I put a pillow on either side below my knees so that I can relax my legs at a comfortable angle. Then I put another pillow between my shins, for instance, if I'm sitting cross-legged. So find what works for you. Essentially, you ease into this practice and you ease out of it. You do this by just focusing on your breathing for about a minute in the beginning and a minute at the end before you add the mantra inside of your head. With your hands, try not to keep your hands on your legs, hands down, because there's so many nerve endings. This can keep you kind of distracted, okay? What's best is to put your hands like this, and you can rest them on your knees. I sometimes do this thing where I touch the thumbs and then I rest it in my lap like this, but find what works for you, okay? Some people are going to tell you, you have to do it like this and you have to sit like that, but like, what matters is can you finish a meditation session and feel like you're better off for it? Is your anxiety reduced? Is your stress reduced? Is your overthinking reduced? Is your nervous system calmer? That's all we're trying to do here. And even if it's just 20% like calmer, that's still a success. Every meditation session is a success. And on that note, I'll also say, if you finish a meditation session and you feel like you didn't really calm down much, but you were still doing the thing, that's still a success. We call that an active meditation. Generally, this happens when your life is really, really busy, and maybe if you're only doing it for like 10 or 15 minutes, okay, you'll be like, wow, that really didn't do much. It still did a lot of stuff because you addressed all of the thoughts and let them go. I think it's time. Now, find a comfortable seat. Use headphones, because that's going to just help mitigate any sounds and distractions that can happen on the outside. Eventually, you'll get really good at being able to hear other distractions and you can just move beyond them. But when you're first starting, your mind is going to be looking for things to keep thinking. So that's why use headphones, sit comfortably. If you need to go to the toilet or have a glass of water, pause this video and do that now. And then let's get into your first meditation. Let's go.
Please take a seat, make yourself comfortable, and ideally sit with a supported straight back. Use a pillow if it helps. Balance your head over your shoulders and sit in a way that allows you to be alert but comfortable. Now roll your shoulders up and back and rest your hands in your lap with palms facing up. Now close your eyes and follow my instructions. Begin by noticing your breathing. Notice as the air goes in and out of your body, and with every out breath, feel yourself becoming a little bit more relaxed. Breathe out the tension and breathe in the ease. Do this for a few more breaths and let go of any tension. We will now begin to play a mantra inside of our heads. It will be subtle, almost like you're hearing it in the distance. Play the sound in your imagination, following the natural rhythm of your breath. Keep your attention on the sound, and whenever you notice that your mind has wandered into thinking, just return your awareness back to the sound. Here it is. As you breathe in, so. As you breathe out, hum. So in, hum out. Now keep going by yourself until I guide you back out. One more time. In breath, so. Out breath, hum. You can now stop playing the sound inside of your head and just go back to noticing your breath. How do you feel now? Are you more relaxed? Is your mind more quiet? Are you feeling more present? The mind begins to calm down when you leave it alone for a little while. Whenever you're ready, you can slowly begin to open your eyes.
Okay, how was that? I hope that you're feeling calmer. I hope that you understood what I told you before and it makes more sense to you now. And what I really want to ask you now actually is to assess yourself again. How stressed are you feeling now from 0 to 10? Okay, and if you want to, it would be amazing if you shared this down in the comments below so that we can all see, how effective is this for each of us. And if you had any special experiences or insights or pieces of wisdom come through, then please share them down in the comments. And please also share this video. Send this to other people. Everybody is dealing with different levels of stress and anxiety and mental health challenges. And this right here is like, it's such a, it's like a life jacket. It's like a life preserver that allows you to just stay calm and centered even when the entire world is going through some chaotic thing. The last thing I want to talk about is how often and when to do this practice. In my experience, I try to do this every day, but I don't because I'm not the most consistent person sometimes. I'm a very creative, chaotic person in my nature, and for me it's a challenge to be more persistent and consistent with things. So therefore, I allow myself a little bit of a buffer. If I skip a day sometimes, like no big deal. I'll just notice the next day that I'm feeling a little more stressed and absent-minded than usual, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I didn't meditate yesterday. And then I'll just do it right then. Now, don't create an attachment to having a perfect streak, because if you have an attachment to that, you might meditate for 20 days and then you'll skip a day and you'll be like, oh, what's the point? I skipped a day. But that's kind of like forgetting to shave your beard and then you're like, oh, well, what's the point? I guess I'll just let it grow now, which is kind of silly, right? It's like mowing the lawn. You forgot to mow the lawn, so I'll never mow it again. So the best time to do it, in my opinion, do it whenever you need it, first of all, of course. If you find you're very stressed, if you're struggling with something, like go and meditate. Like this is going to be the thing that takes care of 90% of these issues. Because quite often the problem isn't the problem. It's your attitude and your experience of the problem that is the problem, right? Like 99% of our problems never actually become a thing in physical reality. We just worry about stuff. So do it as you need it. But then also as a maintenance procedure, the best time to do it is in the morning. So get up in the morning, make sure you wake up enough, otherwise you might fall asleep. Brush your teeth, have a glass of water, give yourself a slap, and then sit down and do your meditation. Do your 15-minute, do your 30-minute if you really want to get all the benefits. Either one is fine, just do something. The morning is the best time to do it because some people do it at night before they sleep and they're like, it helps me sleep so I can come down from the day. And I'm like, yeah, but do it at the beginning and then you're not going to be so affected by everything that's going on during the day. You will still sleep much better at night. My God, the sleep improvements you get from doing this practice are worth it alone just for that. But do it in the morning so that you turn a fresh page for the day, so that you're fully there, so you can really listen to people, so you can think clearly, so you can have emotional intelligence and attention span. This is where this really helps. So do it in the morning, do it as regularly as you can. The Dalai Lama has a great saying, which is, we meditate for 20 minutes. Unless we don't have time, then we meditate for 30. The number one reason people stop meditating is because the mind convinces them that they don't have time. And I'm here to call an absolute load of BS on that one. The thing is, you always have time. It's just that you're thinking about everything you have to do at the same time. But you can't do it all at the same time, can you? In fact, you're going to do everything much better and more effectively and more efficiently of more high quality if you're single tasking on one thing with your full focus, one at a time. And you do that by getting your ducks in a row, by getting your mind calm and your attention focused and under your control. And that's why you do this practice. So I'll encourage you once again, download our app, Manifesty. You have this meditation and others in there for free. If you feel like supporting what we do, Mindspo, and you also want to get access to all the other features of the app, then I encourage you to sign up for the premium version. It doesn't cost much, it's like $10 a month, but it's going to give you a lot of benefits, not just meditation, there's all kinds of manifestation stuff in there as well. And yeah, I hope this video was useful to you. This is my greatest gift to the world, I feel, at this point by far, and I just want to pass this on. So share the love, pass it on to whoever needs it, and I'm wishing you a wonderful day, and thanks for listening. Take care.